Merhaba, isim Marie. Benim Türkçe öğreniyorum. This is the Land Jam. This is another Instagram-inspired challenge. And it's going to be very, very fun. And I've been trying to learn Turkish for only 72 hours. 3 days, only the weekend. I know, insane. I am taking part of the Language Jam Challenge, which is a challenge created by one of my friends, Sandra, Lingotendron, you can follow her. And it's a challenge where you're basically assigned a random language that you have never studied before to learn over the weekend. The whole reason about this is just to relax, dabble in a language, have fun, and not take this too serious. So before I dived in, I wanted to go on the website and also talk to the creator and see what she had to say. So I'm gonna show you here in the website a conversation I had with her on Instagram. I just asked her a couple of questions, what's the challenge about, how often does she plan on doing it, and so on. So it's just to take a break from your daily study routine, leave your comfort zone and study a language you have never studied before for one weekend only. It's not about who can study the most, but to enjoy yourself, learn new things and dabble a bit. And I think that's fun to do, and that's one of the reasons why I do it, is just to explore something new. How often does she plan on doing it? And this was something I really wanted to know because this is only the second edition of the challenge, so I wanted to know what was the plan for the future and so on. So she says about 3 to 4 months, depending on how often people like to do it. But I think 4 or 3 times a year will be a nice time span for me to work on things and for people not to get bored of it, which I completely agree. So why did she start the challenge? She says she does dabbling, as many of us do. And she always, was wondering when to dabble about the next one. And she was after, her fixed list of languages. So in general, she thought that it was kind of like sad that she had all the languages that she wanted to explore, but she didn't really want it to fully learn. So she thought it would be fun. And here's the part where I really needed to hear. Quick tips for people who want to join. Just do it. Don't be afraid and embrace the unknown. She was pleasantly surprised of both challenge languages, even though the first one was OMG what? When I was given both Hungarian and Urdu. Yeah, she says just check the website, join the community on IG, Instagram, Twitter, and Discord, and if you have more questions, I'm always here to help. She is very nice, so if you have any questions about the challenge, just go with her. It's called Language Jam, and you can go to languagejam.net. And I'm going to show you actually a little bit of the challenge. So it has grew tremendously since the last edition, starting with the website. Before it didn't really have a website. No, it has an amazing website. It has a registration page, which I already did, so I'm not going to show you here. You just register and write down the languages you have studied, either for a short time or a long time, or the languages you already speak, and so on and so on. And the pages is so pretty with all the pixel art graphics, and I'm obsessed with that. It has freaking Q&As and much more. It has a registration page, etc. So I explored a little bit in preparation for this challenge to see what this was all about. I had to register, like I told you. You can also choose if you want a Latin script or non-Latin script. That's fun. And then they give you, when you register, this kind of secret name that I think you shouldn't give, but I'm gonna give mine because it's so much fun. It's Language Scorpion, which I love. So she gave some more time to the people who were learning non-Latin scripts, let's say Japanese, Korean, etc. So on October 12th, which is 1 week before the challenge, she started giving the non-Latin script languages. So I went running to my laptop and realized I was not selected for a non-Latin script, so I had to wait until the 15th, which was the next Monday. So I got it, and it was Turkish. The good thing about this is you also get a white card if for some reason you don't want that language for anything. I was curious about mine, so I realized it was Sweden. Of course, I stick with the main one, which was Turkish. I printed the templates because I love printing stuff. I actually printed in a smaller size the planning ones so it can fit on my bullet journal. You can see it over here. And I kept the others. I really like the vocabulary one and the notes one because I don't really have a book for language I dabble in, like a notebook for language I dabble in, so I just like to keep those, and then I keep them on a folder of some sort or whatever until I realize I don't need them anymore. Or maybe I do, maybe in the future I'll learn Turkish and I use them. I already knew that for my previous language jam, the last time I got Tagalog, that I needed to have some goals and some planning. So the goals must be very easy peasy fun. So I actually got to know a little bit more about the language itself, like just about language, get some basics, especially pronunciation, since I think it's very different. And just like have a simple conversation, have a lot of fun with it. So I did separate each day the goals and then make like daily tasks and figure out resources. So I thought Duolingo and Closmasters were going to be good. Those were the ones I picked from the very beginning. So I did try to learn Turkish once in the past. But it was back in 2012 and I just dabbled in it for like 2 days. So I didn't remember anything except for Yeni, which I thought meant old but didn't. And then Seni seviyorum and Sisi seviyorum, which I mean things I love you in both singular version and plural. So that's it. That's all I know. So on day one I got started with the language jam, which is very fun. And I noticed the word order is different. I noticed it from Duolingo, like it said something like Ben su ishim, drink ishim, something like that, which means I drink water, but in the other word there was like I water drink. So I had to realize it and I noticed the conjugation was gonna be a nightmare. But I'm not gonna dive too much into conjugation or grammar, so I'm just gonna keep it like that because like I really don't have the time for it. But I do think it's interesting and I do want to explore it a little bit more. Also, with playing with Closemaster, it was too difficult. The only really words I could cat on was like merhaba, which like I googled before I started the challenge, and then çok, which means much, and it came a lot, like very often. So I just got that word. I think it means like much or many or a lot, something like that. Then I try to learn a little bit about the language itself. So it is, guess what, from the Turkic family, which is like not surprising at all. It is an official language in Turkey, Northern Cyprus, and Cyprus, but it's also recognized in Bosnia and Herzegovina, Greece, Iraq, Kosovo, Macedonia, and Romania. I don't even know how to say that, Macedonia. So in my opinion, Turkish is very hard because I can't really relate the words with words I know. It is a very unique language in its pronunciation and everything, and that was the one big hit I got. But I do remember some of the words I learned, and it was something fun. I guess if you really dive into it and you really like go for it to learn it, just remember languages are not that difficult if you just want to learn them. There's also something that's very interesting about Turkish is that it is like in a broader way, some linguistics put them in the Altaic language family, which related to more Asian languages, like Mongolic, Korean languages and Japonic languages. So that was very interesting to know, like in some way they're kind of related, but not really, you know what I mean? Then I also realized, and I did a lot of research, as you can tell, Turkish has 60 to 65 million native speakers, which is a lot, and about 10 to 15 million speakers around Europe. So it's a language that is pretty much around me, and I guess I knew it, but I didn't really like thought about it. That was it for my first day. At the end of the day, I tried to write in the vocab list all the words I knew and so on, and see if I could remember anything. On the second day, I tried Duolingo and memorize. I didn't have much time, so that was all I did, but I still had fun with it, and I just shared a little bit more about the language. I kept reading about it and I kept having fun with it. And I started to practice basic conversation, but I didn't really do much with it. So remember, the Lang Jam, the whole idea is just have fun with it. So it doesn't have to be like a strict 72 hours, like just going for it. Like we have jobs and life, so yeah. And yes, I work on Saturdays, so yeah. And then on the third day, which is the fun day, I practiced a conversation, a very basic conversation. And then I keep learning and finding some fun facts about it. It is classified as an agglutinative, language, which just means that you get like a base and then a lot of suffixes and prefixes, and it's like just one word can make like a whole sentence. That's what it means. It's like it like brings a lot of things together in just one word. So that's like very interesting. That's why the word order is so different. That's why you don't have like separate things as you will have it in a language, let's say Spanish. And it is a prime example of the agglutinative language. It's something I didn't encounter before and that I am really happy to explore for this time. And then I called my friend Kamila Tekin because I just had to talk to her and I want her to give us tips on learning Turkish. Of course, she's native Turkish speaker, but she did learn it in a way, so she's going to help me practice this conversation and then she's going to give some advice. Hello, Kamila, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine. How are you?
Great, thanks for joining me in this Turkish language jam adventure. So let's just dive into this small, simple conversation. I want to start if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay, if I say something, you can correct me at the end, maybe, because the pronunciation is very tricky for me. So, merhaba.
Merhaba.
Merhaba. Nasılsın? Nasılsın?
Yeah, you pronounce it really well. Nasılsın? İyiyim, sağ ol. Sen nasılsın?
İyiyim, sağ ol. İsmin ne?
Benim ismim Kamila. Senin ismin ne?
İsim Mari.
Memnun oldum. That means nice to meet you.
Oh, same. I don't know how to repeat that. And how do you say bye-bye? Is it like güle güle?
Güle güle.
Güle güle. Isn't that?
Yeah, it's like almost in German you have this U with the umlaut. It's pronounced the same way, güle güle.
Like the French U, is it?
Yes.
Güle güle. Oh, memnun oldum.
Yeah, memnun oldum.
Memnun oldum. Oh, that's nice. Oh, thanks for helping me do this. The pronunciation, the vowels for Spanish speakers, like we don't know anything except for short, simple vowels, and getting to know new vowels, it's always like freaking hard. So anyways, any advice you can give to people who are learning Turkish?
I think you shouldn't be caught up in all the grammar rules because I know that Turkish has a lot of grammar rules and it's really different than any other language that I already know or that you already know. Mostly because, for example, when you have words like in, to, we don't use a separate word, but we use a suffix behind a word. So sometimes words can get really, really long. And we know that a lot of strangers struggle with this, but we really appreciate the effort that they're putting into learning the language. So we always understand from the context what they want to say. And that's also cute to us, so don't worry too much about that. So if you ever go to Turkey and you know a little bit Turkish, then people are really going to appreciate that. When it comes to tips, I would say it's almost similar like in Spanish, because in Spanish, for example, you don't say, I am going to the store. You say, am going to the store, am doing this.
Yeah.
And that's also similar in Turkish.
I also realized there are so many people around me, like, I do have Turkish friends, but like just by walking on the street, I started recognizing Turkish. There's like so much Turkish people around Europe, and I guess I didn't realize that before. And now it's like, oh my god, that's Turkish. Like the last 3 days, I've listened to the most Turkish in my whole life, and I think that was amazing to find that out.
Yeah, even when I get to, go to somewhere, then I think, oh, these are Turkish people. I always hear Turkish people here everywhere.
So thank you so much for helping me, Kamila. Bye-bye.
I hope it was helpful.
Oh yeah, I think it was. You can follow Kamila and her journey learning Portuguese and many other languages in her YouTube channel. And I'm gonna leave the link down below. So this is all for Turkish. It was just 72 hours of fun language learning, not strong language learning, as if you have seen my other language challenge, it's just to learn more about it, to have fun, and just to enjoy it. So yeah, it is a very different language, and I am not ruling it out entirely. There's so many people in Europe that speak Turkish that I think it might be even helpful to learn it sometime in the future. Right now it's not in the plan, but I'm not gonna discard it because it's very, very interesting. Also, the grammar structure is something that I might want to dive into and just to have a different perspective of languages. And regarding the language jam, I just love this so much and I just enjoy it so much that I mean, I will recommend it to everyone that loves languages and loves linguistics and just wants to have fun and explore a different language. I think it really prepares you and helps you with your language planning, and it's a challenge that helps you work on your memory and your thinking creatively on how to learn languages. So I absolutely recommend it. So this is all for today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more videos, here is the language challenge playlist that I have for you guys. I'm gonna be uploading much more fun videos like this in the next month. Also, if you have any recommendations on Turkish learning resources, please leave them in the comments down below. Bye bye!